Hello and welcome to episode 163 of Nintendo Therapy, a show about the latest Nintendo news and rumors, as well as a celebration of all things Nintendo. My name is Kevin, and joining me this week to talk about all the Nintendo news is Harrison. How are you doing, Harrison?
Doing well. Thanks for having me today. And
Of
audience,
course.
welcome back. It's gonna be an exciting uh, week of Nintendo news. Excuse me, that's not the best way to start. Hold on. Okay, I'm good.
Yeah, no, it's
I'm good.
and next week, by the way, I think I'm going to have another Year of the Backlog entry because I only have two tournaments left to fight in the Street Fighter 30th Anniversary Edition. So that's when I consider that one beaten, is when I finish a tournament in each game. I only got two games left to go. Street Fighter 3 Second Strike and Street Fighter 3 Third Strike, or whatever those are called.
Very cool. Very cool. Well, my Pocopia or Pocapia, which I still haven't decided on. My video is 75% done, so that'll be out sometime next week, and look forward to that. Everything else, just check the links in the description for everything else that we're doing. But yes, I made a whole video, and I still don't know how to pronounce that game. Does
We
it
don't
do any of
normally do
us?
this either, but because we try to keep things as evergreen as we can. But I think it's worth mentioning. There's a lot of great games on sale right now. If you go on the eShop, like the Resident Evil remakes are all like $10. You had mentioned that the Kingdom Hearts games are all on sale. There's a lot of good stuff on sale right now. So check out the great deals section of the eShop this week.
Literally, if there's any Square game on the eShop where you thought, oh, I could pick that up, that's on sale right now. Every Square game is on sale, and there's a ton that I forget about. Like I was telling you, like number two for like the most popular deals is Near Automata, and there's like so many Square games where I'm like, oh yeah, Triangle Strategy, like there's just
I'm
so
still
many.
holding out for Xenoblade. I really want to play Xenoblade. It tends to there's a web I forget the name of the website, but it tracks the pricing history of games. And I've noticed that Xenoblade goes on sale like every June and every November for the summer sale and the Christmas sale. So I'm hoping this June it goes on sale and I'm gonna finally hop on Xenoblade.
Nintendo needs to let us do that. I know I've said it on here, but I hate that I can't see the price of the game after I've purchased it. I hate that. Just
Yeah.
yeah, because then I have to look up what the deal is, and I don't care like if it's like oh it's a bigger sale now. That's fine. That's I know
Yeah.
some people will complain, but that's fine.
I mean, they at least finally got it to come out of your wish list when you purchase it without you having to do that manually. That was the case for a little bit.
Right, right. But I won't hark on anything more of that. That's it's not an eShop episode, but
Mhm.
right. um, I I have a news segment, but I want to do your segment today. Let's circle back. So, I
Okay.
mean, uh, Sh- Sean's not here, but are we doing game jail? We could do two rounds of
Yeah,
game
let's
jail.
let's do Game Jail. I wanted this to be a reoccurring segment since we've noticed that there's no Nintendo Direct coming anytime soon. The new Yoshi trailer kind of killed that. We know that was like the final nail in the coffin of any it might happen hopes. Um, so we're probably waiting until June on the Nintendo Direct front. So we're probably going to have a few light news weeks, and this is something we can do a few times. It can be a reoccurring segment, and it's called Game Jail. And what Game Jail is we're going to talk about a game that's in Game Jail, meaning it's trapped on a system or a generation. It doesn't have to be one necessary system, but something that is not available on modern consoles. We're going to talk about why it should be released from game jail. Why should this game get a re-release? And the game that I went with for this week, Super Paper Mario. And obviously it is more likely than some games to get a re-release, considering how much Paper Mario they put out 2 years ago. But yeah, it's the central gimmick to the game is this like flip ability where Mario can flip the perspective from 2D to 3D and see like objects and environments from a different point of view. Unlike other Mario RPG games on the Wii U or the DS, like physical Wii copies aren't as common anymore. Like they're not like super rare, but um, it's not often you see a copy of Super Paper Mario in the wild. So releasing it digitally would help preserve it and introduce it to new players. And you could also do a physical release as well, obviously. But just getting it out there. Look at what they did for Thousand Year Door. Thousand Year Door for like, I feel like 15 years, maybe more. People were telling me how great this game was. And I just didn't have access to it because at the time, GameCube emulation was kind of tricky. It's not anymore, but for a long time it was. And, yeah, it's just like I didn't have any way to play Thousand Year Door. And then they did that remake, and the remake is awesome. Um, so yeah, just release Super Paper Mario, guys. It's gonna, from what I've heard, because I haven't played it, I've heard it has one of the best stories of a Mario RPG. So that's why I'm really curious to see it.
Paper
So what
Mario.
what what about you? What do you think should be freed from
Well,
game
just not to
jail?
not to get off it too quickly though, but Paper Thousand Year Door, as you said, on Switch,
Yeah.
and then Sticker Star on Switch, right? Or is it
No,
not?
Origami King. Origami King's on
I mean,
Switch.
Origami King, but okay, so Super Paper Mario, but Sticker Star could be in the future as well, I guess. Then, right?
Oh, I see what you're saying. You're
I'm saying
offering
like
another victim of game jail because Sticker Star is stuck on the 3DS or DS, whichever one of
for
them
some
it
reason
is.
I thought that that game had come over for some reason. Right.
No, it's
Just
just people complaining about it still.
no, just giving it context because Thousand Year Door was such a big release. Also, Thousand Year
Hmm.
Door
Yeah,
does have a jail inside of that game. Just just
it
throwing that
does.
out there. Perhaps Super Paper Mario does as well, and I'm forgetting, um, but anyways, my game jail. So sure, if if Sean is back, yeah, I mean next week or just we'll do this again in the future because I had a few
Hmm.
options. I try to get away from an obvious one, but this week we're gonna stay with kind of the obvious. Then um,
Hmm.
talked a lot about Kid Icarus on this podcast.
Yeah.
And Uprising, Kid Icarus Uprising for the 3DS is a very obvious pick for a few different reasons. One, and I didn't realize that Kit from Kit and Chris the podcast used to do like Nintendo of America promos because Kit is the one that's showing off the controls for Kid Icarus Uprising. I never knew that until
Hmm.
I looked up videos of this game last night. Um, 12 from like 12 years ago. Or no, 14 years ago, excuse me. But Uprising a lot of people liked, but it used the stylus for it. And I was looking last night because I didn't play this game on 3DS, and I was like, I'm a lefty, like I'm a left-handed guy. Like,
Hmm.
if you want to play left-handed, I mean, assuming you don't want to use a stylus with your right hand, what do you do? And there is a right-handed function where you can move your player using the ABXY button, but
Oh,
I think that is I could never get my mind around that. But anyways,
well,
the
that
fourth
kind of reminds me of the Turok controls where you would use the C buttons.
right, right, exactly. But the fortunate part is that we we got all the sticks and the buttons that we need now. We got
Hmm.
D-pad if we need it. Um, so much like, I mean, I want to say much like Wind Waker, uh, this would offer, you know, new controls, and hey, we can have options for controls, which I've been critical about Nintendo not giving us, but you could map controls if they gave us that option. Uh, Gyro support, of course, we have dual sticks, which is what I would want to use, which most people would
Hmm.
want to use. Um, it would offer some modern options to that. The only part would be that if you were like a if you want to play like how the original game was, that would be like the only thing that would be left out, of course. I guess could you play with stylus? I don't know. Anyways. And of course, there has been
They
no
did offer a they had a peripheral that you clicked your 3DS into that gave you a second joypad, and it was pretty much designed just for this game, even though it didn't come with it. There weren't a lot of games that used it, but Kid Icarus Uprising did.
it came with a stand, which is crazy.
The
It came with a stand for
the second stick. Okay.
yeah, it came with a stand to put your 3DS on. According
Yeah,
to
yeah,
the
that's what I meant. Like you clicked it in. Yeah.
yeah. Oh, sorry, sorry. Anyway, sorry. You need to listen better. Uh, and then of course, part two of this is that there have been no Kid Icarus games since then. 14 years, um, monumental Switch console, no Kid Icarus game. Why not bring this game back to push this series forward? Because I really have nothing else to say. Why not? We should have a Kid Icarus. We should have Kid Icarus games on a console that is this popular. Um,
Hmm.
and I really don't get why Sakurai's busy. I guess he's a busy guy. You don't want other people um, doing Kid Icarus games. I don't. I really don't know. Hopefully Sakurai never retires. I guess is is the conclusion of this. So I feel like that's an obvious game jail one. That's certainly one that we talk about a lot. I hear it get brought up like every time a direct comes around or something.
Yeah, and that's why I think it'd be fun to do this as a reoccurring segment because eventually we're going to get to games we don't talk about often that are stuck somewhere. Like up until recently, Metal Gear Solid 4 is stuck on the PlayStation 4, but they announced that that's going to be in the new collection. So finally, out of game jail.
Right, right, right. You got clemency. Got or I don't know. I don't know. Did you did you flip any? Are you gonna put any games in jail this week? I have one for you.
You know what? Hot take. I'll put Zelda Echoes of Wisdom in game jail because I'm a huge Zelda fan and I have felt no desire to replay that game since it released. I'm just I don't like there were just a lot of flaws with that one. I don't know. It's like it was a half-hearted Zelda game, I feel like. And I know it has its supporters. That's why I knew this would be a hot take, but I feel like they could have done a little better with it.
I thought it was like a really solid Zelda game, but is it in the top 10? I don't know. I don't know. But even like the 10, I've said on here, even the 10th best Zelda game is a pretty good game though.
Yeah.
Like it was
I
still
like the
yeah.
idea. I just feel like you wound up reusing the same echoes over and over and over again. So they needed to find a way around that. And then of course there was the common criticism of the fact that your slider was kind of difficult to maneuver.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, should I just say? We talk about Link Between Worlds all the time, so
Yeah,
that's just like if that ever comes up for a game jail segment, it's not like we haven't talked about it on here enough. And
yeah,
I'm waiting for a modern Link to the Past remake. I know that game has been re-released and remade before, but I would like to see that. And who's not gonna buy that one? Come on. Who's not gonna play it? All right, my game jail. Put it in game jail. It might already be in game jail. Is the new Super Mario Brothers series? Let's put it in jail. It might already be there because we got Mario Wonder, and I think that was a great step forward. I think it might be overrated in my opinion. like
yeah. I
I'm
think yeah.
like I really enjoyed it, but I
People talk about it like it reinvented everything, and it's like, no, you had a couple of gimmicks. It's I feel like people who had their minds blown by Mario Wonder have never played any fan made Mario games before because a lot of that stuff has been done.
there are a few moments in Mario Wonder that stick out to me. I wouldn't say that
Yeah,
they redefine like anything because I see that more as like mechanics, but like there are moments. But that's Nintendo for you. Nintendo is super good at making moments. Um and yeah, I think it's a really really good game. I don't think it's a 9 out of 10 Metacritic must play like how it's been reviewed, but that's great. That just means that we get more of it, which is which is what I would want. But anyways, we had all the way back to 2006, new Super Mario Brothers on the DS, all the way to new Super Mario Brothers U Deluxe on the Switch, and we even had like new Super Luigi U in there. And I
yeah.
think that
That was DLC though that they eventually just like
right,
sold as its own game.
right,
Yeah.
right, included with Deluxe, right?
Yeah,
Um,
but to Nintendo's credit, back when people didn't complain about their pricing, when they sold new Super Luigi U as its own individual game, they only charged $20 for it. I feel like Nintendo today would charge 40, but go on.
how much was Bowser's Fury when it came out?
Yeah.
Right, right. And that was like a whole other game. It's a short game, a shorter game, but it's certainly its own game. So this one, the new Super Mario Brothers series might already be there. We might never see another one with the success of Mario Wonder. That might be the sign that, we're moving on from that.
Yeah, I don't think we're getting a Wonder 2. I think they might just do like a different subtitle, like Super Mario Brothers, I don't know, whatever the gimmick is that time.
Whatever the verb is. Super Ma-
Yeah.
Mario Brothers speculate. Just hmm. It's like Mario never gets to the platforming. He just kind of thinks about it. Just like yeah. So I don't I don't think we would ever see a new Super Mario Brothers in that title, but I don't. Will we see any of the games come back and be re-released again? I don't know. I don't know. Like,
I was hopeful. That was a rumor, you remember, for one of the directs was that we were going to get a new Super Mario Brothers collection. And I thought it would be nice because that first one, especially, is still fun to play. I really think it's only that second one that isn't that good, New Super Mario, and which is actually the third one. But the one that's called New Super Mario Brothers 2, which is actually the third game, because the Wii one came out in between. Um, yeah, I think I don't know. I'd buy a collection, but I don't think we're getting one.
don't think so. So maybe it gets taken out of jail at some point then. But a new one, probably
Maybe.
not. Probably not. But new 2D Mario? For sure. I mean, we might get new 2D Mario before we get new 3D Mario at this point.
Yep.
Very good. I have one news item for us today, and it's actually two small news items that I can conveniently put together. And it's just things that are going around in the Nintendo world right now. One on one end in Brazil, which has a lot of Nintendo fans there, they re-rated Mario Kart World as 18 plus, and
Hmm.
that is due to the gacha mechanics or loot box mechanics that are in Mario Kart World. This has impacted a lot of games, and it just puts it in that classifier. Since it does have those sort of mechanics, it is now the first 18 plus Mario Kart game.
Or
Um,
probably Mario game, period.
right, right. Despite my request of it, um, and and the game was already banned in Belgium. Didn't know. You're in
Interesting.
Belgium, you can't buy this game. So, uh, it's getting treated as gambling adjacent, which I don't think it's a big deal, but I do think it's something that it should be pointed out more. I don't know if it should be pointed out by administrations, but it should be pointed out more that there are lots of gotcha mechanics that are in children's games. Look at Roblox. Look
Yep.
at how much money
Yep.
Roblox makes. The other
Yep.
one is then, and this was expected, but I looked through what's gone on in the EU to see if it's impacted Nintendo directly in any way. Not really, but in the EU, um, they're going to reportedly start making a Switch 2 that has a replaceable battery, and that
Mm.
will be in due to the EU right to repair laws, which means that any electronic device you have needs to have an easy battery replacement, and that would start in 2027. And I wanted to bring it up
Interesting.
because that sounds pretty cool to me. I mean, I don't think I'd ever have to replace my Switch battery, but I love the idea. I love knowing that if I had to, I could.
Yeah.
Or maybe I would have an extra battery with me if I knew I could replace it easily. Um, but I guess that's just a power bank at the same time. Like I guess it's
Yeah.
kind of the same thing. So, um,
I mean, the battery in my 3DS is still working just fine, and that thing is like what, like 15 years old at this point? It's old, really old.
right. I just don't see it being an issue. But when it comes to the big picture, when it comes to like how many things are just wasted, I love that part. And it's rare on here that we'd ever talk about anything that actually involves governments and Nintendo. But yeah, Brazil, it's regulating their monetization of loot boxes. In the EU, it's regulating their hardware. And where I'm sure this will mostly be impacted is in their mobile sphere. As far as loot boxes go and gotcha games and just
Hmm.
different ways they monetize in-app purchases. So, um, I don't know, Kevin. Is this just a new normal then?
I think so.
Yeah.
It might make Nintendo a little more reluctant to put those in because they definitely think on an international mindset. So It might keep Nintendo from putting those things in games in the future. We'll have to wait and see.
Right. I hope so. Or yeah, I've always been torn on it, because I do think loot boxes are fun sometimes. After all, we're talking about Pokemon cards here, got people
Hmm.
that's what Pokemon cards are. You open a pack of Pokemon cards. Oh, I got the holographic one.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of torn. I'm kind of torn on it, but I'll never like the idea ever of like a pay to win on an already paid game. Um,
Yeah.
that part will always get away from me. But loot boxes in a packed in game, that's a part that I'll always kind
Mhm.
of be torn on because I don't know, like people go shiny hunting for 30 hours. Like isn't that just kind of like opening the same loot box over and over and over again until you get the shiny
I
one?
mean, Amiibo. I mean, that's most likely why they don't give Amiibos too many like great abilities because that someone could see that as pay to win if the Amiibo gave you too much of an advantage.
Right. Right. So, looking through the news this week, I was thinking I- these two, in a way, they kind of connect. Different things going on in the world. I would love to see uh, them just go to a replaceable battery, but I know that's not gonna happen.
Mm.
But I guess you could just because my wife has one of those EU iPhones, where she can use USB on hers.
Oh,
I'm kind of jealous of that. Like
yeah.
it's definitely a lot better than you know she can use everything. So yeah, there's that. All right. It's been a short news week then. Any other news before we get into this spotlight then?
No, I even pulled up the page to see if anything new dropped, and there's not a whole lot going on that's Nintendo specific. It's all things about like non-Nintendo games coming out, like Minecraft Dungeon 2 they announced coming this year, and there's a lot of news about Resident Evil Code Veronica remake, but not a whole lot of Nintendo stuff.
Right. Everyone's playing that Crimson game,
Yep.
Crimson whatever. It sold like 2
Dawn.
million copies. Um. Uh. So. So yeah.
Let,
Yeah.
let's finally get these spotlights done. They've been on the docket forever.
I
So,
know.
our spotlight game this week, we've got two games. The first one is Balloon Fight for the NES. Balloon Fight is a game that Mandela affected its way into my life. I thought my neighborhood growing up had all of the NES classics. Between all the households, we had Castlevania, we had Turtles, we had Mega Man, Metroid, Zelda, Mario, Ice Climber, Punch Out, Contra, Battletoads, Bomberman, Excite Bike, Hogan's Alley, all of them. But I don't know, like I never heard of Balloon Fight growing up. I think the first time I heard about it was in 2001 when it was in Animal Crossing. And then a few years later, Nintendo started this. They started releasing NES games on the Game Boy Advance, and it was previewed as one, but it only came out in Japan. We didn't even get it. So I don't know. I remembered it being lumped in with classics like the ones I listed there, but I don't know. I'm like, did I miss something? Either way, Balloon Fight for the NES is a deceptively simple arcade style game from Nintendo that challenges players to stay airborne while popping enemy balloons and protecting their own. Using tight, floaty controls, you flap through single screen stages, dodging uh, basically wind blows you around too, and you're dodging things that are trying to pop your balloons. There's hungry fish waiting below. Every encounter becomes a test of timing and positioning, as one misstep can send you drifting helplessly toward danger. The game is often compared to Joust, combines strategic aerial combat with precise movement physics. In addition to the main mode, the endless balloon trip offers a calmer but equally demanding experience, tasking players with navigating hazards for high scores. With its catchy soundtrack by Hirokozu Tanaka, Tanaka's the Nintendo music guy that everybody loves. He's got his little secret song. It's got pick up and play design. Balloon Fight remains a timeless example of how simple mechanics can create lasting fun. So, what did you think of Balloon Fight this week?
I totally forgot about the Animal Crossing one. I'm lacking because I always have to do the update. This is the ninth uh this is the ninth NES game that we've reviewed that is on Animal Crossing. I just clicked out of it real quick. And
There
that
you go.
means that of the ones that are in the base game, we have done all of them besides Clue Land. We've done all the rest of them. So we're almost done. um,
Interesting.
yeah, because we've done Balloon Fight, Donkey Kong Jr. Math, Excite Bite, Golf, Pinball, Tennis. On the island is Wario's Woods and Baseball. So we've done all of them besides Clue Land. And then Nintendo giveaways, Donkey Kong Jr., Donkey Kong 3, Punch Out, Soccer. And then externally, you can get Mario Brothers, Ice Climber, Legend of Zelda. Yeah, so there's only one left overall.
Okay.
What I thought of it, so I can remember playing this game back in the day, and I think playing on an NES Advantage, this is one of the games that's better if you play on an Advantage when you have like those
Interesting.
those arcade style controls. I think it's a little bit better just to have like a big like the floating mechanics for some reason feels better with like a big floaty button, I think. So
Hmm.
that's that's what I remember of this game. Super fun for for this era. Has very good co-op, and I love that co-op in like the NES era is like you can work together, but you can also just like beat up your friend at the same time. If
Yeah.
you choose to do so, you could just do that as well. So, very fun game for me. Lots of memories of it. Doesn't rank that high because it's not a game that I feel like I need to revisit that much. Um, Referenced probably as much or more than any other Nintendo game when it comes to like showing up in other games. Um, and yeah,
Yep.
no release date on this one either, which is always strange when we come to a game that doesn't have a release date or any initial reviews that are out there. I don't know, it's just kind of weird when it's like
It's an oldie.
there should be like in somewhere in the history a day that they say, okay, like on this day it hit the shelves,
Yeah.
but it's like no, we actually have no idea. If we look as hard as we can in history, we have no idea what day it came out.
Yeah, that goes all the way up until like the Nintendo 64 era. There's just some games where they just know the month. But when you're all the way back in NES days, like they have the season. They'll be like, "Oh, that came out summer of '88." Like somewhere in those 3 months, you know?
So overall, super fun game. Um, Super fun with co-op. just a game that I'm kind of over. It's 111 for me. 111,
Yeah.
which is still playable.
I have it in my non-playable section. I'm just not a fan. I know it's a classic and all that, but it's not something I would ever put on to play. I put it all the way down at 175, which is below Tecmo Bowl and above NES Golf. Just not for me. I'll say it that way. I can see it has its audience. I can see it has its supporters. It's just not for me. And then Spotlight game number 2. We paired them together because they are both the Balloon series, the Balloon franchise. Balloon Kid for Game Boy. Balloon Kid on Game Boy, it takes the aerial mechanics of its predecessor, turns them into a charming side scrolling adventure. It was developed and published by Nintendo. The game follows Alice as she floats across varied landscapes to rescue her kidnapped brother and recover stolen balloons. Players guide her through skies, underwater sections, and obstacle-filled environments, mastering momentum and careful movement to avoid hazards and enemies. Expanding on the formula introduced in Balloon Fight, this portable sequel adds a light story, creative level design, and a relaxed pace that suits handheld play. Alternating between balloon powered flight and swimming segments, the game rewards patience and precision while maintaining a whimsical tone. With its catchy music and innovative stages, Balloon Kid stands as a delightful evolution of Nintendo's balloon based gameplay.
And
I
this
like this
is
one better.
I like this one slightly
I'll
better.
say that.
It was brought up a few weeks ago when it was added to the service, but um, it's one of the only released in North America, not in Japan, which is take that, Japan. We got Balloon Kid, you didn't. All you got was the much better Hello Kitty adventure. And I say it's much better. I'm sure
Sure.
it's the same game, but it is cuter, I would say. So Hello Kitty Adventure eventually released. I think it was like a couple years later. I think, and it released as the same game under Hello Kitty. This is a Yokoi game. Um, I really like the balloon pump up mechanic in
Mm-hmm.
this one. It just adds like another real life element to it, which we know that Yokoi is such an absolute legend. Like pretty much, I mean, create has created so many things in video games that you don't even think about because they just exist. Like just
Hmm.
all like you think they would just always exist in the world, but no, it was actually made by him.
Hmm.
So that's that part was cool. This is one that I hadn't played before. Certainly not an easy game. One, I'd say I'd have to spend more time on if I were to come back to it. So, how do you feel about it?
I like I said, I liked it. I really am just in a Game Boy mood lately. I like the charm of those original Game Boy days, and I mean, this one didn't blow me away or anything, but I played them in order, and this one was an improvement. So I don't know, there's just something about it that's a little bit better. Maybe it's just that you're not stuck on a single screen the whole time, and it might just be like something that simple to do it for me. But yeah, I ranked it low, but not as low. I ranked this one at where was it? Like 10 or something like that. Some Spotlight 1, Spotlight 2. Why doesn't it have my ranking? Well, I ranked it somewhere in the hundreds. I'll scroll down and find it. I put it at 102. So that's below the Densetsu no Starfy Game Boy Advance games, and it's above Joe and Mac 2 on Super Nintendo.
I put it just one above at 110, just right above Balloon Fight, Balloon Kid. Definitely an improvement. And I guess overall, we skipped over the recommendations. I think NES is good for the history and
Yep.
for the co op. Game Boy, I don't know. Like, would you realistically recommend the Game Boy one to a certain kind of gamer? No, no, not really.
People who like Balloon Fight who didn't know there was a Game Boy version. That's about
Yeah,
it.
that would be that'd be very specific, and
Yeah.
and then like I mean, this series is over. I don't know like what like if Nintendo was like, oh yeah, let's make a modern one of these. I don't know which genre they would pick for it, but I'll kind of leave it there, and people can think about it, speculate, or leave us a comment down below. Uh, right, that is balloon fight. Then let's see next week.
All right, next week we are going to the Super Nintendo Entertainment System for some Jelly Boy. Not a title I'm familiar with, but I definitely see it every time I open that app. So I wonder if it's in any way like A Boy and His Blob on the NES. You know that one? It's like a cult classic. You feed
Um,
the thing jelly beans.
no, no, well, I don't know. I'm not sure. It,
I'm looking up the Wikipedia right now. Jelly
Jelly
Boy, it's a
Boy,
platformer
Smart
game.
Ball, Jelly Boy
Yeah, no, it's
2.
not connected.
Okay, okay, Flubber the game. Or I don't know. This Jelly Boy looks like a lot of 90s characters to me. I just can't put my finger on it. I'm going with Flubber. Flubber the video game.
In 1995, Total, which I guess is a magazine, ranked Jelly Boy 73rd on their top 100 SNES games, writing, "On the surface, this platformer seems basic, but the challenge is big and it's strangely gripping." So that reviewer liked it.
Okay. Okay. Well, that's for next week then. Sounds good.
Yeah. So join us next week for some Jelly Boy talk and some Nintendo news and some more segments. And Sean will probably be back and all kinds of stuff. In the meantime, tell all your friends about the podcast if they want to hear people talk about Nintendo every week. You can like and subscribe us just like every other thing you consume on the internet. And you can leave a comment down below. It helps the show. And I quite frankly like reading and replying to them. So make my day and say something. um, and yeah, we will be back next week. Just keep in mind we're Nintendo fans, not Nintendo experts, so we probably get things wrong every now and then. See you next week.